Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is episode number 141 of the Audible Farm Podcast, and this episode is brought to you by Couchtown Coffee. Couchtown Coffee is roasted right here in Iowa. The roaster is also a musician himself. That's another reason I love it. But one of my favorite parts about this coffee is it is roasted pretty much on demand for whoever orders it whenever they order the roast. So if you order your coffee, he takes the time out of his day to roast coffee specifically for you and then ships it to you. So he's not pre-making it and then hoping someone buys it. No, he is doing it on demand. So that's really, really cool. I got to say hats off to Couchtown Coffee. I drink their coffee every single morning, and that's not hyperbole. That's not advertising saying that. That's a real thing. So thank you very much to Couchtown for supporting the podcast each and every week. And check out their coffee, www.couchtowncoffee.com. Find a coffee you like, make an order, and when you do make an order, say, hey, Audible Farm sent me, and they will give you 20% off. That's awesome. Why do they do that? It's just because Couchtown Coffee is that awesome. So check it out, www.couchtowncoffee.com. This episode, I'm sitting down with Mackenzie Schwenke. Mackenzie is a graphic designer as well as a photographer. She's also a musician at a church, and she likes to sing. And she's very multi-talented. I had her on a handful of weeks back, maybe about 2 months back. But yeah, I've decided to bring her back again. We were talking, and she said, when are we going to do this podcast? And I said, you know what? Swing over here right now. Let's do it right now. So she did. She actually came over to do the podcast. And this one, we discuss all sorts of stuff. We discuss her taking pictures at jam nights and shows, as well as freelancing some pictures for her own personal projects. We also discuss her doing some other graphic design work. We discuss her playing music at church as well as singing at church. I recently went to go see her sing at a church, and she's very good at singing. Not that I thought she wouldn't be, but she's very good at singing. It's kind of wild. So she's multi-talented in all facets. At the end of this podcast, we start to do some nice serious talk. She has a podcast idea about the stigmas surrounding mental health, and it gets a little serious at the end, but I think it's very, very necessary. It's a very tough topic to bridge, and I hope everybody enjoys this episode as much as I did, because who doesn't enjoy honesty from the guests? And this one is loaded full of about as much honesty as I could have ever asked for out of a guest. So I gotta say thank you to Mackenzie Schwenke for being as strong as she is, to be as honest about a lot of these things as she is. So I hope you guys sit down and enjoy this episode. Mackenzie's a great gal, and she'll do great work for you if you want photography work, or if you want some graphic design work, or whatever. She can do it all. She can take pictures. She can do graphic design. She can play instruments. She can sing. We went to school together. It's just kind of fun how we randomly met in our lives, and how well we actually get along. So check this episode out. It's with a great gal, and thank you very much for sitting down and listening to the podcast. It's episode 141 with Mackenzie Schwenke.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
Today, I'm sitting down with Mackenzie Schwenke. Mackenzie, you were here, I don't know, like a few months ago. It seems like it was just yesterday, but at the same time, it seems like it was forever ago. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's been kind of, I don't know. It feels like it was like 2 weeks ago, but obviously it's been a little bit. But
yeah, I don't have my phone with me. I think it was like maybe like 12 episodes ago or something, which is about 3 months. Maybe it was like 10 episodes ago. But yeah, I mean, you're back. This week I've been pretty busy, so we were chatting today, and you said, when am I going to be on the podcast? And I said, this week, because I don't have a guest, and that's my fault for doing that.
It's a good thing I messaged you.
Yeah, I mean, the worst part about it was I set up an appointment with a guest and then had to cancel because other stuff came up. I mean, I've just been pretty busy this last week or so, playing shows and doing that kind of things, and starting a new job. Woo-woo. And
you busy? Never.
Yeah, then I played a couple shows and went to a couple shows and recorded an album this weekend. So,
woot woot.
Yeah, just been busy, So, yeah, it is what it is. So, yeah, everyone else is busy too. Everyone's got a life. I might close this door just to not make it weird. But what have you been up to since the last time we hung out?
Well, to be honest, the last I mean, let's say it was 3 months ago was the last time I did the podcast. For the last 2 out of those 3 months, it was just finals kicking my butt. It was pretty stressful this last semester, so yeah, finals were definitely probably the main thing that I was doing for the last couple of months, and then working and catching up on everything I didn't do when I was doing finals.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
this last month has been about. So
Yeah, you're done with school now, so now you got more degrees than a thermometer, and you're
I know,
good.
right?
Yeah, I mean, you can just keep stacking them in there deep if you want to,
I know.
but you got you actually have quite a few really, really useful degrees. We talked about a few of them last time. So you got a culinary style degree or 2.
Technically 2. One of
Technically
them
2.
said diploma, so
Well, whatever. We'll just call it 2. And then if you went through all the accounting stuff I did, which I think you did, you would have gotten 2 out of that plus an AA, so that would be like 5. And now you got a graphic design one. Mm-hmm. So that's 6. And you got another one? Any more we don't know about? Underwater basket weaving? You got like a welding degree or anything like that?
I did take some basket weaving classes in college. No. Oh gosh, no. I think that's it.
That's actually quite a nice wide range of things, like with that kind of stuff, you could like start your own business and do your own accounting for it and then cater your own food to it. And
I know,
stuff,
right? Like, I've been like thinking, I'm like, how many things could I do with the 3D degrees that I have? And I was like, I could do a wedding planner because,
Oh, yeah.
watch me cook all your food and do all your other stuff. And
And you could do your own marketing for it.
I know, exactly.
Then do your own taxes at the end of the year.
Oh gosh, I hope not. No, no offense, Doc Don. Please don't listen to that part.
I actually don't mind doing taxes so much. I did a handful of them, and I did a couple this year just kind of, I don't want to say for fun. I did them for people because they were just like, can you do my taxes? Let me put it this way. These were easy enough that you would have just been like, this is a breeze. It was like a W-2 and then like one extra piece of paper. And it's like, as much as you
horrible.
didn't, as much as you didn't like doing taxes, you would have crushed to those. So
It's just a lot. Taxes just are a lot. I don't get it.
there's a lot to do, especially when people start like, well, I have 3 jobs and 4 retirement accounts, and I invest money, and I'm also a farmer, and then I own my own business. And it's like,
And I
geez.
gambled and I won a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do. Or I gambled and lost,
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot you can, do with a lot of different things with taxes. And I think that's one of the things that turned a lot of people off from it. But I wished I spent more time doing more taxes, honestly. It was pretty fun for me. But
I would have to say that I'm the opposite.
so let's talk about something you do enjoy, though. You do enjoy doing the graphic design work.
Oh yes,
You do enjoy photography as well.
I love it.
Absolutely.
It's exciting stuff.
You recently did a photo shoot with a friend of yours. I don't know if it was your roommate or not,
Yep.
but it was.
That was my roommate.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was when I saw the picture, I was like, I thought I met this lady
Yeah.
before. So yeah.
Yeah, she's my what I call my go-to model.
Nice.
If I have an idea, I'm like, Alita, I have a project. And yeah, then I usually make her do it. So this one was just kind of an impromptu. I had an idea, and she was actually willing to do it because she loves Coca-Cola. Seriously, like this lady loves it. Like
It's off camera, but
yeah, I know. I saw that.
there's a giant Coca-Cola sign here.
Yeah, she loves Coca-Cola. So she's like, there's like a wall in Fort Dodge that has like the Coca-Cola logo.
Yep.
So she was joking, and she was like, Mackenzie, I have my glass Coca-Cola bottle. Like, we should take a picture. Like, we should do a photo shoot with them. And I was like, okay, that's not a horrible idea. And then I kept thinking more into it. I was like, that kind of reminds me of that like retro type of pictures. Then I did a little researching to kind of get some ideas sparking. Thought of a laundromat.
Yeah.
Which, when I first told her, she was like, what? I'm like, okay, just trust me. Like, it'll be fun, whatever. And then we get there. Funny thing is, we saw someone get arrested at the laundromat. So we're like, oh gosh, why didn't come? But it was actually a really nice looking like laundromat.
You know, it honestly was.
Yeah.
From the pictures I saw.
Yeah, they like whoever owns it, they take good care of it. And not advertising for them, but
no.
So then my one idea, I told her, I was like, I need you to sit in the dryer.
I saw those too.
And she looked at me and she's like, no. I said, seriously, just do it. I need you to trust me. And at one point I didn't think she was going to do it, but then she actually did it. And those turned out to be a couple of my favorite pictures because they're just so cool.
Yeah. I think there was, if I recall, because you sent me some like, proofs of some of those. And there was one where she was like kind of hanging half out the dryer with her hand on the ground, like maybe drinking the Coca-Cola. Yeah, that looked pretty cool. I mean, of all the ones I saw, I was just like, that was pretty neat. So it's kind of funny that you thought that was your favorites too. So
it's fun. And so when I told people, I was like, yeah, we're doing a photo shoot on the laundromat. They're like, what? Like, why? Like, we had people walking in there washing their clothes, and they're like, what are you doing? And we're like, well, so I had this idea, and here we are. Like, that's what we're doing. And then I had one lady that was putting her clothes in the dryer, and I was like, hey, can you put like some of your clothes in this dryer so that way when I take a picture, I have like clothes swirling. She's like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, oh gosh, this is so weird. But it ended up, it was really, they were willing to help me out. So that was really nice. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. We did some pretty fun stuff that day.
Yeah, that Coca-Cola sign that you were talking about earlier is actually for people that are the musicians around the area up in northern Iowa. It's in Fort Dodge downtown. It's actually right next to where like Patty's Pub used to be. But yeah, I don't know. So if anybody's like, well, where's that at? It's like, it's just pretty much right there. So, but yeah, I remember seeing that mural a lot back in the day. And it's actually like kind of fun that, Fort Dodge still has some of those hanging out, because I think there's a couple other ones too for other things, but off the top of my head, they, escape me. But I do, the Coca-Cola one's pretty prominently still on the wall there. So that's pretty cool. It's like a giant building with a Coca-Cola advertisement painted right on it. So.
Yeah, I keep telling my roommate that we need to go to my, near where my hometown is, because Atlantic, Iowa is the Coca-Cola capital of Iowa.
Yep.
So obviously Coca-Cola is pretty much everywhere. Mm-hmm. So they have a lot of Coca-Cola stuff. And I was like, I just got to go down there, get some really cool pictures. So I think it'd be fun.
There used to be a bottling factory here in my hometown, which is, I don't like saying my hometown. No, it's in Humboldt, but the hometown here. So yeah, anyways, in Humboldt, there's used to be an old Coca-Cola bottling factory, and I think it sat empty for a long time, and then the Arts Council bought the building, and so like the Humboldt Area Arts Council actually left a lot of the Coca-Cola stuff, like the tiling in the floor. Somebody like spent all the time to cut the tiling to make like Coca-Cola murals in the tile and all this other stuff, and it's all still there. So
it's crazy.
It's really pretty neat.
Yeah, I think there is a museum in Atlantic too for like everything Coca-Cola. So
I'm glad I mentioned.
My roommate listens to that, then.
Yeah, now you guys are going to have to go.
I know. We'll have to go do another photo shoot.
Yep. You'll be there chugging Pepsi.
Yes. So that's actually funny. For the longest time growing up, because in Atlantic, they have Coca-Cola days. And my dad loves Pepsi. And he was always for Pepsi, not a big Coca-Cola fan. So when that would come around, he'd walk around wearing a Pepsi shirt, Pepsi hat, and would be drinking a Pepsi. And that's how we went to Coca-Cola days.
Dress the whole family in Pepsi outfits.
If he could, he probably would.
I'm surprised he didn't. He sounds like a pretty fun guy, honestly. Like,
yeah,
just
he's a pretty cool dude.
Stick it to the man kind of deal.
He's a goofy dude. I love him.
Yeah. Oh, I can see where you get it from then. I'm just kidding.
That is actually... I had someone call me an oddball like a couple weeks ago, and after she said it, I was like, you're not wrong. Yeah. Like, I've never claimed to be normal.
Well, normal's boring. So.
Exactly. And why be normal?
Yeah.
More fun.
So I was thinking about the photo shoot and how when you were asking your roommate to get in the dryer, I mean, it just made me think, well, at least it's the dryer and not a washing machine. Because, I mean, the clothes would, in theory, already be clean before they go into the dryer, so it shouldn't be that bad.
You know, there's heat, so I think it was even warm, like decently warm. So when she sat in it, it was like, you know, it's like a nice little spa, you know. She's definitely gonna listen to this and roll her eyes at this part. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like one of your recent pictures you posted on your Facebook was of you in the laundromat too. It was something to the effect of, you know, you get that rare experience of being not behind the camera for once, you know. And I saw it had 487 likes or whatever it was. Oh yeah,
you know, like all my thousands of followers.
No.
Shout out to them. Okay.
No, it was one of those things that was like posted for like 40 minutes and it already had like 30 some likes. I'm like, geez, like I'm late to the game here, you know, but I'm
catch up.
Gonna get on my Facebook more often, you know, like or whatever. But
yeah, no, that one was my roommate took that one on her phone because I was like, sure, why not? Like, why not capture the moment? Why not? And I had pretty much had her sit in that cart.
Yep.
For like half the photo shoot. So she was like, it's your turn.
I was going to say it's punishment now. Yeah. You get in the cart.
So I was like trying to get in it and it's like not the most comfortable thing to sit in. And I was like, oh, hold on. I got to like readjust it. She goes, see, I told you. I was like, sorry. I mean, the pictures look cute. It's worth the pain.
Yeah. Meanwhile, she's been in there for like 40 minutes, you know, like...
Yeah, so I was like, cool, let's not those, like, so I have like 2 pictures of me sitting in that cart, and I was like, this is like perfect, you know, I get my picture with my little camera, and
yeah.
It was kind of fun. I actually really like those pictures. She did a good job, like.
Yeah, she framed it up well, and it's in focus and everything.
I've taught her so well.
I got into a discussion with people online about this actually, which I might, you know, be kind of fun to bounce ideas off of you for this one. You're like a budding photographer. You haven't been in the game for like ever or anything, but you're no, but you're starting to take pictures of a lot of different things. Like some for businesses, and I mean, you even took some pictures for me and Jesse Wilson at a show we did. Those pictures were really cool. Still waiting on those pictures, but I told you up front to just take your time on them.
Hey, I sent you the link.
You did, but I'm not just going to pirate them. I want you to put your little watermark in them, you know.
I'll do that. I forgot about that part. So,
that's the thing I was actually going to bounce the idea off you. What's your thought process on giving the credit to the photographer? Because that's something I always feel like it takes like literally a second to put like at the bottom of a post, photo credit this person.
Yeah.
You know, it literally takes no time at all.
Yeah, especially if you're just gonna post about it, like even if you did like pay for it, it's still really nice for you to credit us, but especially if you didn't pay for it, definitely like credit the photographer.
Yeah,
my roommate's probably gonna kill me because I didn't credit her.
I saw that was her comment in their photo credit me.
I didn't think about it, and then she did it. I was like, yeah, you're right. Okay. So then I kind of felt bad, but yeah, it's kind of like the same thing about, I could go on a rant about making sure you credit the people that, you know, did that, because artists necessarily don't get, you know, paid a lot to do their work because people don't want to pay a lot to do their work.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, even just, especially if you didn't pay for it and they were willing to do it for cheap or nothing or whatever, super nice to just credit them. Like,
absolutely. So then that's the other thing I was going to ask. What about like forcing your hand on it and putting a watermark in there? That was something I said to you, just like watermark the corner of it, you know?
Yeah.
So that way, on the off chance somebody wants to like try and crop it, it's still stuck in there somehow, so they'll still have to see it or whatever.
Most photographers will do that, from what I know. There is like different ways. So like if you pay for there's a specific like rights that you can pay for to be able to pretty much have the photo.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use it for whatever you want without having our brand on it. But you have to have like the specific, like the rights to it. You have to ask like for permission type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't understand why you wouldn't credit the photographer. Like, why not just boost them, help them, like
give them a shout out at least a little bit, because I mean, it's like you said, not only just photographers, but we're talking graphic designers, which you're a graphic designer as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like how many graphic designers get their stuff just pirated like crazy? It happens all the time, you know? So,
and it takes like 2 seconds to write credit to and then tag us in it.
Or just like a camera emoji and then a tag, you know, like it takes nothing.
Yeah. But anymore with how fast people type or text, it's fine.
Well, it's all half emojis anyways. I think we're going back to hieroglyphics at this point.
Probably, honestly.
But I mean, that was something I got in a debate with somebody online because somebody said they posed the question, should photographers be credited in photos? And then, you know, that opened up the can of worms of like, well, if you're paying them, it's slightly debatable. But if, you know, once again, we're talking about, did you pay them just to take pictures or did you pay them for the rights for the pictures? You know, so those are two different things in my, you know, I'm not a photographer, so I don't know, but those are two different things in my opinion. So if you're doing those kind of things, then then there might be up some room for a debate. But if you didn't take the picture, you didn't pay anyone, like, I think it should be absolutely mandatory to credit them.
I mean, I just don't get why you wouldn't. Like, they deserve the credit. You know, you didn't take the picture unless somehow you can magically stand there and not be, you know, selfie stick type, but you know, whatever. I guess if you want to do a selfie stick type of pictures, go right ahead. But yeah, no, I mean, there is ways to take pictures of yourself, but that's a different story. Anyways, sorry, that was way off topic. Yeah, I just realized that I guess my opinion is, if you have to think about it, just credit them.
So that's something else I started doing was like, when I first started Audible Farm, I was videotaping a lot of bands and doing things like that. And I was like, well, you know, if I'm not going to videotape, I might as well take pictures, you know? So I, you know, quit videotaping some bands and started just taking pictures instead. And then I realized like very quickly that people are just like, you know, don't credit you. And it's like, I honestly don't care, but like, once again, you can't take a picture of yourself, you know, especially if you're like playing guitar or doing something. Yeah. So like, why not credit the person that went out of their way to do it? Because it's not like I don't get to enjoy the music while I'm taking pictures, but I'm also like not paying attention to the music. I'm paying attention to the
like,
pictures.
Even just like sharing, like, let's say you took a picture of me doing who knows what.
Podcasting.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Like, even just sharing the post from like Audible Farm, so then people will see Audible Farm. Like,
instead of saving it and reposting, that's another thing that kind of bothers me.
That also takes way less time.
And I get it because some people want to feel like they get the credit for it. You see a lot of that in the meme world where like there's like different pages or groups online that share memes and then somebody will just pirate the meme and then share it on their own page like they thought of it and made it. You know, it's like, but you know, that is what it is. I guess on my Facebook, I know of a couple people that'll do that. They're always about 4 or 5 days behind on the meme too, and it's like, well, you missed the boat, but whatever, you know.
Anymore on social media, sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Because I scroll through half of them, I'm like, I've seen this like a million times. Don't know why you're sharing this.
One of my favorite social media platforms for that is Reddit. They're brutal about it. If you share something, you'll get, you know, down arrowed and like 40 people will be like, we saw this yesterday. It's insanity, but
old news.
Yeah, no kidding. But
gosh.
I mean, it is what it is. So like one thing I started doing was taking pictures, and I mean, I just take pictures with my iPhone, and I admitted that in this post that somebody had made, and somebody hopped on there and made a comment about how like, since I'm taking pictures with an iPhone, it doesn't count. And it's like, how does it not count? Because I'm still like, I'm not zooming in, you know, 8x to make it all grainy and nasty, and so I'm still walking like right up to the people with the full optics of the camera. And
I mean, like, here's the thing: is that like the amount of like you follow like pretty famous people on social media, and let's say that they share somebody that took a picture of them at the concert that they went to, and they thought it was really cool, so they decided to share it on theirs. They still credit the person.
Yeah.
And it could have been an iPhone shot, Samsung, whatever. They still credit the person.
Yeah.
So it's like, just do it. Like, it's not going to degrade your post.
No, it's not going to make it any worse. And half the time it's buried so deep that you have to click see more anyways to even see the photo credit. But like, why not put it in there at least, you know?
Seriously.
But it was pretty funny though, because like someone, you know, to be like, well, it doesn't count because it's an iPhone. But I didn't even get the time to reply to them, and somebody else jumped in and defended me, and they were like, you know, an iPhone... If you go get a new iPhone, it's like $1,000. And I get it that like a good camera, like a decent camera is like $2,000. But like the optics in an iPhone camera are pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they have so much good technology now.
So it's not like you're taking pictures with like a Polaroid or like a disposable camera or something, you know. You're actually still taking pictures with a decent camera.
Yeah.
So then it comes down to like knowing how to use it. Are you pinching and zooming in from like 400 feet away to like try and take a close-up shot so it looks like junk, or how are you framing it?
Even so there's a TV show that just came out recently, like a month or two ago, called Exposure, and it's like one of those competition shows, but it's the first phone camera challenge. So they take like actual photographers and then they give them a Samsung phone because obviously they sponsored it. Yep. And they do challenges with the phone camera. And like, so obviously there's some pretty good technology with the phone. And I actually really love watching that show. It's kind of, it's fun, the different challenges that they do. But yeah. I just say, why just do it? Just credit whoever took the picture. I don't just do it. Like, even if you don't have to, why not just do it? Like,
yeah, and I thought it was pretty funny that somebody actually came to my defense before I even had a chance to like defend myself. They're like, you know, technology and this person, you know, if you at least have an eye for framing, because that's something else that like, I mean, I could take a picture. You could take, my mom can take pictures. My dog can take pictures. Everyone can take a picture on a phone. But like, if you don't, you know, it's different if it's just like, I want to take a picture. You know, if your roommate had taken a picture of you and you're all the way on the left end of the photo or something, or like, you know, it's like, this doesn't look very good, or like you're like way top centered on it or something. It's like, that's, I mean, you can crop around it, I guess, but then you're like, you know, losing the size of the photo, or you might be altering the resolution to try and zoom in on. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different stuff you can wreck on the photo if you're not framing it correctly. The more editing you do, the less of the photo you end up with in the long run. So that was always something I tried to do, was just like make it so you don't have to like crop stuff out and like, you know, frame everything correctly, like walk up to people and take the picture. And
well, that was like one of the things that we learned in photography, like in the class, was that yes, you can edit a photo, but can you take a picture good enough that you don't really need to edit it?
Yeah.
And that was the goal, was to learn how to adjust the camera properly to do what you want it to do.
Yes. I mean, fancier cameras, you can get away with the zoom technology on it a little bit better than just some digital stuff on a...
That's very true. Yes.
But here's, like, I mean, do you remember when we were in school, I was like the person that was the communications director, so I did a bunch of social media stuff. So I took everyone's pictures for the student of the week. And then I remember when when it was my turn to be student of the week, I can't take my own picture. So I had somebody else take it, and I thought about it, but I had them take the picture of me, and it was like from about like where my belly button was. They had it like just down here, and they took a picture of me, and it's like, that's not a flattering angle. And so then I had to like get somebody else to take it, but it was like all off centered and stuff. And then I just kept like fishing people around. I'm like, hey, can you take a picture of me? Can you take a picture of me? And then finally somebody got it right, but it was just weird to be like,
by the way, he didn't ask me, so
you weren't a photographer yet.
You still didn't ask me, but okay.
Yeah, it probably would have turned out great.
I know, right? Okay. Anyway.
No, it is what it is, though. Too, like, once again, not everyone's got the eye for, you know, taking a photo. Just like not everyone's got the eye for fashion. As I sit here with, you know, the clothes that I'm wearing. So, like,
oh my gosh,
I'm here wearing plaid-ish brown pants, you know, whatever. But it is what it is, though, you know. So not everyone's got the eye for everything, and that's something. It's not like I'm a great photographer, but at least, you know, I also have the knowledge to like, well, let's take 400 pictures and throw away 378 of them.
Well,
so
that's
that way
exactly what we were always. Another thing we were taught was to take like 100 pictures for at least 15 good ones.
I mean, that sounds about like the ratio, honestly.
And so that's what we were taught. Which, okay, so going back to that show that I was telling, Exposure, one guy decided to take 2 pictures. And he was like, okay, I'm good. And that's what he did. And I was just like, what? Like, why? Why would you do that? Sorry.
Did he win?
He's in the top 3 right now. So
he, you know, I guess if you really know what you're doing, you could probably pull it off, you know, but at the same rate.
I don't think he like got very high on that challenge, but he still made it through. But I was just, as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's a big mistake. That's going to kill you right off the start. Like, but.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I even did that with like refinishing the guitars when I'd make those little guitar videos and I'd, throw, there, you're looking at the one guitar I refinished. But when I would like take.
I'm going to steal his one guitar. So, I mean, I'm not, for the record, I am not stealing his guitar.
So when it shows up missing, I know who to turn to.
Not me.
No, but like even that, I was just like, well, we'll take a picture from this angle and that angle. We'll take a full shot of it. And then we'll get really close up. Then we'll show some detail on this part of it and that part of it and do all, and it's like, and eventually, you go to make the video and it's like, the videos are like a video mixed with a slideshow for the most part with music in them. They're nothing like super special, but like it's still, okay, they're great. Don't laugh, but they're great. Go watch them. No. But
he's really doing a good job talking himself up. They probably are better than what he talks, because he likes to not like boost himself up. So
that's very true.
Peter is fantastic.
No, there's actually one of the videos I did make. It actually has like 15 or 16,000 views, which is a lot for just some guy in Iowa doing a slideshow of a guitar.
Wow,
So
it's like I was right. That you are fantastic.
But I mean, it turned out to be a good deal. Like when you take too many photos, then it's not like, then you find the best ones and you crunch them in there and it actually ends up, being, worth your time, because then you don't have to be like, well, now I wish I would have taken more pictures of this stage of the guitar, or that stage of the guitar or whatever.
And while like maybe the photo that you thought like when you were taking it, you're like, oh yeah, this is going to be a good idea. And then you look at it and you're like, oh, that didn't turn out that. So it's always good to take more than one picture.
Exactly. And you took pictures for me and Jesse, and that was something that was really neat. I've never had people really like with the purpose of taking pictures at a show. I don't think I've ever had there's only been a couple shows I've been to where like, professional photographers have showed up and to do that kind of stuff. And some of them do it on, their own time. Des Moines used to have a handful of photographers that would come to shows and take pictures and then, watermark them and, because it doubles their exposure.
Yeah, of course.
It makes total sense. I'm in on that. But, there's not too many of those that happen anymore, or maybe they just don't go to our shows, which is totally fine with me. It's fine. I mean, punk music's not for everybody, but, in Iowa, we played in Iowa City, and I believe it was, man, I don't want to get this wrong. I think it was Shadow Fox Photography that took the pictures of us down there. So, shout out to them, I guess. That was actually a really good picture of me and a really good picture of John that came out of that one. So, it's kind of cool because, like I said, I can't take a picture of myself, and if somebody knows what they're doing, it's better than, someone from 40 feet back zooming in on an iPhone. So, it's pretty cool. So it's neat to have that kind of stuff happen. But, then we were like, well, we want somebody to come take pictures of us because we might be able to get a couple decent ones that we can use for like promotional purposes or whatever for me and Jesse, or like maybe just one of Jesse for himself, or whatever. And he actually did tinker with a couple of those and they look pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah, I had fun messing with a couple of them.
And the only reason we didn't take them and use them yet is because they're not watermarked. And I mean, we could give you the credit, but I'm still like, watermark it, so that way if somebody else tries to steal it,
done, so that one, yeah.
Because I mean, like,
I will get that done.
It comes right back down
on
to
my list.
Doing the watermark thing, But it's super funny though, because like I used to take pictures of bands at shows, and then I started like watermarking things, and people would be like, "Can you not watermark this and send me the actual one?" It's like, I mean, I could, I guess, but like, could you give me credit for it? And then, they don't. So I quit unwatermarking things and sending them the originals. But like the other end is just like, if you're really that hard up, just crop it out, I guess, like whatever, but at the same rate, it comes back down to like, why not, why not?
Why not just
credit them? And that was something else. Like I could have just asked you like, hey, you want to come take pictures and just do it for the fun of it. But we actually like, we're making money playing music, so we might as well just pitch you some money. So we pitched you some money for it. I don't know if it's like your first quote unquote paying gig on your own, but it was kind of no good. So, but I don't know what rates you charge, but we just came out with a number and we're just like, hey, here you go. And you sent me a couple edits and I was just like, these are crazy. How much time did this take? And you're like, it's like 5 minutes. I'm like, what? And you're like, you could do this. I'm like, if I could do this, I'd be doing it, So, once again, you don't boost yourself up too much either, but it's still like you do.
Probably why we're good friends.
But, you do really good work, and don't sell yourself short. I talked about you a few episodes back. I kind of gave you a little plug in the outro for that, so it was kind of fun to, give you a shout out there, because you did take pictures, and they did turn out pretty good. But like I said, all I saw was the proofs, and I didn't want to just pirate them and be like, oh yeah, look at these great pictures somebody took, and it's
well,
like,
maybe since now I'm talking about it and people are hearing about it, I will post them so that way they can be shared.
I don't mean to just give you crap about it for like a half an hour straight, but like, but they're
all
out.
this podcast is Peter.
I just brought you over here to harass you. Where are those pictures at? No, but they'll be out soon. I know they will. I mean, within whenever. So like, just
within whatever.
Oh yeah, I mean, so check out Mackenzie's page. We got to look at the notes here. You are on Facebook and Instagram as Schwenke Artistry. If you don't know how to spell Schwenke, it's in the description section. Just click on the links; they'll be right down there. So
most likely, you probably won't know how to spell my name.
yeah, I'm not gonna be like I know how to spell it, but I think the last time you were on the podcast, I spelled it wrong. When you came over, you were like, "You spelled my name wrong," and I was like, "Oh, my bad."
Yeah, at this point, I just kind of let people do it. They're gonna get it wrong. It's fine.
Need to change your name to something easy. Even like Mackenzie, though, that's another one where people spell Mackenzie like 400
so many
different ways.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, mine is obviously the correct way.
Well, yeah, it's debatable. No, it's true. No, it's debatable. No, I have a really easy name, but believe it or not, every time I go somewhere and they're like, "What's the name on this?" I'm like, "Peter," and they're like, "Okay," and then I come in and it's like, "What's your name, Peter?" Like, "What did you end up ordering?" I ordered this, and then they come back and like, my cup has like Tanner written on it or something, and it's just like, you might as well have written like Steve Bob or something, like it's not even close, but like,
Steve.
I don't know, like. So, but I mean, it's to the point now where I'm on like the phone with people. I'm like, Peter with a P at the beginning. And it's like, some people are probably like, this guy is insane.
Yeah. Whenever I like say my name over the phone and I know I'm like, it's for something like kind of important, I'll just go, Mackenzie Schwenke, M.A. Just start spelling out my whole name because I just start into it. I don't even like wait till they ask because I just know it's gonna.
Yeah. I mean, at least my name's still pretty simple. Even Stockdale's pretty easy. Sometimes people will spell with a B instead of a D, which blows my mind. Stockbale. I don't get it, but like...
you stock a bale.
Yeah, exactly. But I do have to say thank you. I guess like this would be the most public way to say thank you for taking pictures of me and Jesse. I know that they're going to go a long ways for both of us. If you guys are in the north central Iowa area and you're looking for somebody to take pictures,
or if you want to pay me to go over to wherever you are.
Yes, that's another thing. I was so thankful that I bought you a smoothie afterwards. Like, that's how thankful I was because you showed me some of the pictures. Like, these are pretty neat. So, but yeah, that's just something I would recommend. Mackenzie, she's just, one of very few people I know that does this in a professional manner. I mean, I paid you, you're a professional, so that's what makes you a professional. So, hair flip, not from me though, no hair flip from me. But yeah, like, as far as I'm concerned, you're like one of very few people I would hit up to do pictures because I don't know too many people that actually take pictures with nice cameras and know how to edit them and do things like that. Like you said, we can all do it with iPhones and stuff, and there's pretty simple filters you can toss on there from just an iPhone, which is what I use for Audible Farm. But it's still like it's nice when I'm playing the guitar. I can't take pictures of myself once again, so it's nice to have somebody else there taking pictures because I take so many pictures at jam nights and shows. And even like I'll play with Jesse and we'll bring other people on stage and it's like, I guess I'll take a picture of everyone else on stage except for me,
I know.
And then it's
that's like the sucky part about only sucky part about being a photographer is that you don't really get pictures of yourself.
Yeah. I do actually have a picture of you taking pictures at a jam night though, because you came to a jam night and I was like, yeah, I'll send it to you. You can do whatever you want. You can just delete it or whatever, but. It's a great picture because I'm a good photographer too, and no, did I go too far with the boosting my own ego?
That was hilarious. No, I love that. That was great.
But it was funny because you came to one jam night once just to hang out, and then I was just like, "You bring your camera and just take some pictures." I bet people would go nuts if you ended up taking some good pictures. And I don't know, like maybe they all turned out like trash because whatever. But like,
it was a little hard because I needed a tripod, and at the time I didn't have a tripod, so.
And the lighting is kind of goofy.
The lighting is a little down, so in order to, if I adjust it properly, I would have to have something to hold it still. So that was like the hard part.
Oh yeah, because if the lighting's down and you want to actually boost the lighting, you gotta increase the exposure, which is
the shutter speed's gonna slow down. So how quickly the picture takes is the shutter speed for anybody that doesn't know that.
I didn't even go to school for this, and I know that. No, but
snap. Okay. But yeah, no. So the slower the shutter speed, the more you have to hold it still, or the object you're taking
has to hold still too.
Yeah.
So otherwise you might end up with like a blurry hand or something like
Which,
that.
I mean, if you're
playing
going
guitar.
for that, that works. But if you're not,
yeah,
it's a little difficult. But
it would be kind of weird if somebody's like halfway through a word, then their mouth is like blurry or like, something like it. So I get what you're saying too.
Yeah.
It's a little awkward with that kind of stuff. I don't know. You did take one picture of me while I was sitting there watching people play music, and I almost made it my profile picture, but the only reason I didn't is because I, for some reason, like to hide online. I had a picture that Emery Brown from the Sleepover had taken of me playing the blue hydro dip guitar that I had, and that was my picture for like ever. I mean, I'm talking like 4 years, and then before that, I had the same profile picture for like 5 years. I mean, like I've only had like 3 profile pictures in 10 years on Facebook or something. So
I'm gonna need everybody who listens to this to, if they think that Peter should change his picture to the picture I post, to do hashtag Peter change your profile picture.
I won't check the hashtag. No. But
that would be so funny if that blew up.
it just blows up, goes viral. No, I don't know. I do the podcast here, but I don't really want to like stand out in the limelight and be like the podcast is about me. And so many people want to try and find me and badger me online, which is weird. So I have like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Facebook friend requests just sitting there from like literally any Tom, Dick, and Harry and Jane that's holding a guitar. And so I tried to hide. Yeah, I'm gonna have to close that window here in a second. But
is that a mower?
Yeah.
Yeah. I see it.
Yeah, somebody's driving by with a lawnmower. But yeah, so I changed my profile picture to a cereal box. I'm now one of the Captain Crunch monsters. Which
now everybody can find you.
Yeah, I know. So I'm gonna have to change it.
He's got to
again.
change it.
I'm gonna have to change it again.
Hashtag change your profile picture.
I will. All right, I'll change it, and I'll give you credit.
Yes.
That was like funny because I told you I was like I might use this as my profile picture, and the very first thing you said back was give me credit for it. So I was just like, all right. So we're all on the same page about giving credit where credit's due for sure. Let's change gears here a little bit because obviously we've talked a lot about you being a photographer.
Yeah.
And you do the graphic design work. We talked about that last time. We also talked about your culinary stuff in the last episode. We talked a little bit about how you sing on the last episode, but I had like no experience with you singing. So I was like, all right, well, let's just gloss over this real quick. But I actually went and saw you sing. You invited me to go watch you sing at a church. And I'm going to tell you, like, I'm going to say it like I did there. I was surprised it was you singing. Like it was that good. And I'm not trying to be like, I didn't think you were a good singer, but your singing voice is so much different than your speaking voice that it was just like, who's that? And I was like, that's Mackenzie singing. Like, holy cow. And even Tyler Dahl was just like, he backed me up a little bit on it. He's like, yeah, you do sing really good, and it's different than your your regular speaking voice. So
it definitely is. Yeah.
And that's shout out to Tyler Dahl. He listens to like every episode. So
woot woot.
Yeah,
he's getting married this weekend. So.
No way.
So congratulations.
Congratulations, Mr. Dahl. That's cool. That's really cool. So shout out to him. He was the one that listened to the episode and told you I gave you a shout out in one of the episodes. Yeah. So
it's very hard for me to have time to listen to like anything.
All I do is drive on the road, so that's all I do is listen to podcasts. But I don't listen to my own because that'd be weird,
Yeah, see, hearing my own voice just like.
Yeah, nobody likes it, but there's a science behind that because within your own brain, you feel like your voice has more bass, and then when you hear it audio recorded, it has less bass.
Yeah.
And the whole bass is the fact that it resonates through the water in your skull.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna get very technical here, and my brain's gonna be hurting here.
What's that?
You're gonna be hurting my brain here soon.
But okay, so we're gonna go back to the singing thing. So I go to church, and I'm not gonna call myself out, but it's the first time I'd been to a church in a while, and it was not bad. It was a very nice church. I don't know. You and I have talked about it. I'm just not much of a church person, but I went to the church and it was actually pretty fun. Your pastor there was a really fun guy, nice young guy. And, has lots of he throws a lot of jokes in there here and there, and he sprinkles them in nicely. So it's not like he's doing a comedy routine, but he's got some pretty good timing with his jokes. So
he knows how to lift.
Yes, he talks about something really serious.
Keep people paying attention.
Yeah, talks about something really serious and then brings it like right back. I think one of my favorite ones was he was talking about how Jesus was going somewhere to do something because he was kind of run down, you know, and he was talking about how rough Jesus was having of a time, and then he goes, so Jesus goes to have a spa day, and then he just goes right back into talking about it. So like you said, it's one of those things where you're just like, wait a second, did you say spa day?
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm back in, you know, like so. But yeah, I got to listen to you play piano and sing, and you're a really good singer. So how did you realize you were a good singer? So
that's weird. That's a weird question because I, for the longest time, I just thought I was just, I was okay.
All right, keep talking. I'm going to close the window.
Okay. I could kind of, I was pretty much at the point where I was like, I could kind of keep, sing the right note. And then I was doing choir throughout, pretty much as long as I could. And then when I went to Iowa Central, I started doing that. And then when I got to I think I started singing on a worship team when I was in high school is when I first started. And it was only like slightly. I didn't really lead. It was more just harmonizing, which was great because it was a great experience. Harmonizing isn't always the easiest thing for a lot of people. So if you can do it, it's always good to learn.
I'll admit that first and foremost, I'll admit that I can't sing very good anyways. I can be passable, but harmonizing is difficult. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
I have to at least hear it first what I'm supposed to do before I can even do it. So if somebody's like, harmonize to this on the fly, nope.
Yeah, I can.
Not a
I can
chance.
actually pretty well harmonize on the fly. When it gets difficult for me is if I have another person harmonizing and then I have to find another harmony. That can be challenging for me, unless I already know what I need to sing, and it's different from what they have. Like if I already have something different than what they have, then it's fine. But yeah, that's where my struggle is, but it's a work in progress. But to teach myself how to harmonize, if I was listening to a song on the radio, I would harmonize with the people that were harmonizing. That's how I taught myself pretty much, was just constantly harmonizing with the songs that I was hearing on the radio, and somehow, just kind of picked up some stuff.
I'm sure it takes some practice. So like guitar, you play chords on a guitar, and I can pick out different notes in the chords and figure out what chords people are playing. But for some reason, when people are singing in harmonies, it just blurs all together into like one voice, like barbershop quartet stuff. Like it just sounds like one really weird octave fold voice, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on here, but it sounds good. So
I actually taught myself how to play piano because of singing. It was completely on accident. So I started slowly leading worship for like a couple songs every now and then, and in order to practice, because we do some songs in a different key according to your voice. And so I would teach myself the chords in order to be able to just play the chord whenever it comes, so I could hear what my part is, like what is it, where's the note.
Oh, okay.
So I needed to be able to like pick up the note just from hearing the intro. So that's how I started teaching myself what each chord was. And then I slowly, like over, I want to say like a year or so, just started playing more and more and being able to figure out more and more. And I did have a little help from someone kind of teaching me how she does a couple different things. And then, otherwise, majority of it is me making it up. And if there's a specific like part in a worship song, like, so if anybody knows Reckless Love, the intro part, it's a specific one, so if anybody hears it, they'd know exactly that it's that song. And I play that by ear. Like I pluck it out depending on the chord. I'll pluck it out and then I'm good to go. Very much play by ear, but taught myself how to play piano. And then I think it was about a year ago that the lady that did play piano for us, she was going to be gone. So she's like, hey, would you be willing to take over? And I was like, wait, what? Like, and I was a little shocked, and I was like, I mean, sure, why not? Like, I was just kind of took it and was willing to just put myself in that situation. And I wasn't supposed to sing with it, but they needed somebody to harmonize. So then I started harmonizing while playing, which was very much out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, that'd be hard.
I was terrified because I'm already doing something new with playing the piano in front of people, and then throwing me harmonizing. That was like, holy crap. But it actually went well. And then slowly, just recently, I started just being able to lead worship and play piano. And it's a kind of a different ball field than what I'm used to. But surprisingly, it's going decent. I mean, I still hit a couple wrong notes. Sometimes more than I want to admit, but
we all hit wrong notes.
Yeah.
That's just the aim of the game.
Yeah, but yeah, I just kind of put myself in that situation, and when you get asked, I guess I just said yes. Being willing to say yes and seeing what happens, and gotten a lot of compliments, and actually just recently, a couple months ago, I started about once a month going to Harlan and leading worship there for them at Harvest of Hope I thought I heard something. Sorry. In Harlan, Iowa. It's my roommate's, her parents are the head of the church. So.
Oh, cool.
So they got asked, I go down there and have a lot of fun with them. They treat me like royalty. It's crazy, but yeah. And I have a lot of fun. I love getting to sing and lead worship, and yeah, I love getting to do it. It's just one of my favorite things is being able to lead people in worship, and I just feel like that's a pretty incredible honor, I guess, for me. But
yeah, I mean, it's a pretty powerful thing to do, honestly, too. We might have talked about this a little bit on the previous podcast. And I know I've mentioned it before, so if you're hearing this again, I'm sorry. But like, I did start playing guitar like on my own, and kind of I bought like a chord book and like, these are the chords or whatever. But the first place I ever got any exposure to playing guitar with other people was at a church, you know. So it's pretty neat to be able to hone your craft at a place like a church. I mean, probably the best part about it is nobody in a church is going to be mean. You're not going to like walk off the stage and people are just going to be like, you sucked, you know. They're going to be pretty supportive of you. So it's pretty awesome, which is a far cry from like some of the first shows I played outside of church were in front of my high school peers, and not very supportive. But
yeah, especially with churches, like a lot of them, especially like your smaller churches, they don't really have, that much of a pick for, and some people aren't musically talented, that a lot of them that go to the church, they don't have that talent. So if they're able to find someone, if you're willing to learn, they're willing to like let you help. Like they want the help. Like, so like with me playing piano, they had a need, and I was willing to step in and do it. So, yeah, honestly, churches are so willing to let you, help them out, because we need the help sometimes. Sometimes we don't have that many people that want to lead worship or can or have that skill, so
it makes me think, like, do some smaller churches like do what you're doing, is like borrowing somebody from another church and be like, can you come over here and do some of this,
some people do, yeah.
I mean, otherwise what are you gonna end up? You're gonna end up with somebody just says, like, pulls a kazoo out of their sock and they're like, all right, we're gonna do this song, and just like, like, I don't know, but I don't know. I guess you could always do the whole pre-recorded karaoke style type stuff too.
I know, like the really small churches that, let's say they have like somebody that can actually sing, that they'll do, the YouTube instrumental versions of songs, and then they just have, you sing along with it or whatever, and which isn't as much fun, but they at least have something. But
I don't know why, but I was just thinking, like, what if there's ads on those videos? I would assume they would try their best not to put them on those types of videos, but like,
oh my gosh, that would be horrible.
It's like, go to petco.com and buy your pets. I don't even know if Petco is still a thing, but like,
now a word from our sponsors.
Yeah. Oh man, it's just like some Mid-American Energy commercial starts blaring in the church.
Oh gosh,
I don't know. But yeah, I guess that's just, it's kind of neat to think about that kind of stuff, because it's something that a lot of people don't really like think too much about. Because I mean, I grew up in a Baptist church, and there's always 400,000 people singing like the whole time. It's just like all Baptist churches is singing and getting talked down upon. But no, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. I was just making a joke, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everybody out there that's Baptist. Because I was raised Baptist, so it's, it was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me, though, was given, having somebody give me the opportunity to use my skills in a church. Because I don't know if I would have actually played anywhere else had it not been for that. So,
it definitely helps like boost your comfort with like being in front of a crowd. Like,
yes.
Especially for me, like. When I was first starting singing, I was very shy to be out in front of people. But the more I grew into it, the more I had chances to be up there. I guess the more successful I felt like I got. Just the better, the more comfortable I was with being out there. And now I'm like not afraid to do weird stuff and whatever it is that
like leading your own service for singing, and that's something that's pretty wild to me. I don't know if I play a lot of music, but I've only played the frontman bit a few times, and it's nerve-wracking, you know. But once again, I guess
especially with worship, it's a little different. Some churches they add like spontaneous worship, so whatever comes to your heart, just start singing it. And
wow.
So like the song that I think I did when you were there, a little bit of it was spontaneous. But
crazy.
So there's that for you, but
that's pretty awesome. Man, I don't know. That's like just making stuff up on the fly. So that's pretty wild.
It's pretty crazy.
So how comfortable are you playing like chords and things on the fly? Like if somebody was playing some chords and they were just like, these are the chords, play along, could you just do it?
Yeah, probably. If they told me what the chords are, most likely I could decently figure it out. I think I would have a little bit of struggles with knowing the order, like what's going to come next type of thing. But, I think I know I could play the chords.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be where my struggle is knowing the order of if I just screw up the order type of thing. But
all right, so here we're going with the next question. When are you going to not bring a camera to jam night and bring a piano to jam night and play along with us?
Ooh, snap.
Because, and I'm not trying to like put anything down here, but like, I mean, we can go like a whole song just playing C, F, and G over and over again.
Really?
It's not terribly hard, So like, it's just one of those things like it's C, F, and G, or like, and then we might just change the pattern once in the song or something, like a lot of like folk and blues songs utilize the same pattern for the majority of the songs. So, even a lot of country songs do that. So, like I said, like they might change for the chorus, but it's like just the same, or like, there's 4 chords, and that's most songs are comprised of 4 chords usually. So,
I don't know. I guess I didn't think of that because I never saw a piano there.
I've seen people playing a jug there. I've seen people playing a violin there. I've seen people playing flute there. There was a guy with a wash tub bass there, which is like a wash tub.
Oh, yeah. I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, did you see the picture of that? It was pretty awesome.
I think I was there when he brought it, actually.
Yes, you were, actually.
Yeah. Well, maybe you could convince me to step out of my comfort zone a little bit more.
It's benefited you thus far. I will have to say the same thing, though. I was very brash and willing to do just about anything when I was growing up, and at some point in time, reality hit me in the face, and I just like went into my shell. It was like I never had a shell to begin with growing up, and then at some point in time, it was just
yeah.
I don't go anywhere. I don't talk to anyone. I don't do anything new. I don't try anything new. And I'm starting to finally like bust out of my shell again. I think some of that might be the fact that like when I was growing up, it was like, I know everything and I could do everything and I could, run higher and jump faster and whatever than everybody else, and then I just realized like you go out in the real world, like I suck at everything. I really don't know anything. So I got to like work on this or whatever. So, the better I get at things, the better it is. But it's also one of those things where it's just like, hey, you want to come play some lead guitar on this stuff? And it's like, oh man, I don't know. And then it's just like, well, yeah, I do. I get nervous at first, but it's like, yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah, I feel like once I got into it, I feel like I'd be fine as long as I think I could hear it pretty well. I feel like I play by ear a lot, so that's how I figure out whether I'm playing the wrong note, like key and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Like you just hear it like that. I don't know how else to explain it besides that I just hear it. Like I just hear when it's off. So maybe I'll give a maybe with leaning on yes.
All right. So someday maybe you might end up thinking about possibly coming to a jam night with a keyboard of some sort.
Use hashtag Mackenzie.
Go to jam night.
Yeah.
Mackenzie, change your profile jam night picture. I don't know. So the other thing was when we were working together, because we worked together for a while at a place, and when we were working there, you were like, I kind of want to learn how to play guitar. So I found a cheap guitar, and I'm going to be the first to admit it was a cheap guitar. It's not fancy. It doesn't play the greatest, but it's an acoustic guitar that it works, but it's not great. So you could spend more money and learn on something easier to play, but once again, you're spending more money. So that's the double-edged sword of the guitar, which was something I actually talked about with Jeremy Ober. It's like the most heartbreaking thing ever. You can buy a cheap guitar, but it's harder to play. And ironically, those are the guitars they give to beginners, which kind of sucks, honestly, because it's like, why do you want to learn? It'd be like learning how to drive in a car without power steering and a manual. It's just like, this is not the easiest way to learn, but I guess if you can learn on this, you can learn on anything.
Yeah.
So, but obviously, you got busy in your life. I got busy in my life. I started working more. I started doing other things. I went back to school. You went back to school. Moved away. Didn't talk for a while. Whatever. But we never ended up doing any lessons or anything like that. And you never took any lessons on your own. But now that I know that you learned how to play the piano on your own, I'm like all but for certain you could learn how to play the guitar on your own.
Maybe.
I learned on my own. So if I can learn on my own and you can learn all the things that you've learned in your life, I would definitely assume you could. So
I'm still gonna. I still feel like you should just help me.
I would be
for
more than
some things because I feel like there's just some things that I'm like are over my head. It's a little different playing guitar compared to playing piano. I feel like because like with piano you're hitting notes, But then with guitar, you have to worry about strumming. You have to worry about, where your one hand is at. And I don't know why, but it's a little different, I guess, to me.
It is a little different, but I bet you could pull it off. I mean, you're right, though. The piano, you're hitting a key that hits a hammer that hits a string, whereas you're doing all that work with just your fingers for the most part on a guitar. But, and like I said, the guitar that I located for you and helped you get was not a high-end guitar by any means, so it's going to be tougher to learn on that than it would be a different one. But
that's why you're going to give me this guitar over here. Cause,
the worst part about that guitar is the neck on it needs an adjustment because it doesn't sit quite right, and that's like the only reason I haven't ever played it. I've never taken it out of the basement.
Okay, so I'll let you fix that, and then I'll be back.
But here's the other thing I was thinking. If you could learn like literally the most basic of basics on a guitar, you would be able to like just see what somebody's doing and then just play it on a piano.
Probably, yeah.
And I mean, I'm serious. Like you could learn like 5 chords on the guitar and be like, I know everything almost. And it's literally like that easy. So it's pretty funny. So like that could be something else that could help you. You could like sight read what somebody else is playing.
That'd be insane. That'd be kind of fun though.
I mean, that's literally all I do at jam nights, and that's what I do when I play with Jesse. He's just like, we're playing these chords, and I'm like, all right. Or like if if he's playing a new song I don't know, I'll just like let him go through it once.
Yeah.
Like, and then it's just like, okay, those are all the chords he's using, so I know what key he's in. I can play him like this instead of like that, and then solo like this or whatever.
I mean, that's pretty cool, actually. That's pretty talented, I feel like. I mean,
but you could probably do it with a piano, I bet, because you've played enough. You've played enough songs where you probably realize the patterns that a lot of songs have.
Yeah.
That it's just like, a lot of songs use these chords, and if they don't use these chords, they use this set of chords.
Yeah.
So there's, these redundant patterns that are in music that.
Oh yeah.
Once you start picking them out, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I get what you're doing here.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Might have to teach myself guitar chords and see if I could do it.
Yeah, I mean, I would be more than willing to help you on your journey.
Yes.
Like I said, it's not like I'm going to tell you no, I'm not going to teach you, but like I bet you're, let me put it this way. I'll tell you what I told all my students when I actually gave guitar lessons. If you want to learn, you can learn. Mm-hmm. It's that easy. I wanted to learn, and I learned on my own. I learned it from a book, So, but the only way I got better was by playing with other people. So you're right. having somebody next to you that is better than you, even though I'm not the best drummer or best guitarist in Northern Iowa, it would be better than nothing, I'm a drummer. I don't know where that came from. I can't play the drums at all. There's a drum set, but it's in pieces in another room. That's how much I play the drums. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely killed it. I smashed it in a million. No, it's actually taken apart and stored nicely. Scott Dahl would wring my neck if I smashed some drums. But yeah, so like I definitely think that'd be something fun for you to do. But like that's just one of those things that you could be less, triple threat of an asset type deal. It's like, well, I could take the pictures at the jam night, or I can play the piano, or I could play the guitar, or something, or I can sing, or I can.
Yeah.
I mean, you can pretty much do it all, and that's kind of one of those fun things. Was like I realized once you start kind of delving into the arts, you kind of start to be like, I can actually do a lot of these. There's weird similarities that you can pick up in some of them.
Well, that's like the thing with. If you can learn guitar, it's going to be easier to learn violin. Yeah. That's what I was told, because I love violin. It's my favorite instrument.
There's actually a violin over here.
Another instrument I'm stealing. Okay.
It belongs to somebody else. I'm going to refinish it.
It's okay. I actually have my own violin. But I have always wanted to learn violin. That's probably my favorite instrument. So I was told by one of my band teachers that, because he knew how to play guitar, it was easier for him to learn violin.
Yes.
Because it's almost like guitar, but one step harder, because then you have to deal with, the bow and all that stuff. The way that you do that is very technical too. But
actually, I've got something really wild over here. I'll show you.
Oh. Dun, dun, dun.
So this is a ukulele. These things were made... Have you ever seen one?
Yeah.
So for everybody watching the video, this is a ukulele. So what you can do is you can actually like strum like this or like this, and the other end of it is if it's not tuned and it's not in any good shape. It's missing a bunch of strings and whatever. But you get a bow and you can actually bow it between these little slots here, and it plays the notes, or you can play like whole chords with it or whatever. But yeah, they're not not easy to play. They were sold as something door to door, like I looked up the history, but they were sold as something like easy to play door to door, like way back in the day. And then they come to find out they weren't actually very easy to play, because you don't have to like learn any chords or anything. You just get a bow and strum it between the slots to play the chord, but at the same time, because it says C, A, F, F, D, B. I mean, they're all just like right there, but it's not as easy as you would think.
That's insane.
But yeah, I've got one. I got one from somebody that didn't want it anymore, and I was just like, I'll fix it up. And then I was just like, this thing's really beat up. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll fix it. And I just never got around to it.
I mean, even just having it is just kind of cool.
It is really neat.
It's like a nice little antique.
Yeah. So we actually got over an hour in on this podcast here. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that we should have? Because I think I got everything checked off my little list today.
No, you do not.
No, I don't. So
You're missing one.
Yeah, this is gonna go just like the last one. We're gonna go like an hour and a half on this.
That's okay. Everybody loves me.
Actually, your episode was very listened to last time. So,
oh goodness.
This is actually, I can't believe I forgot this, was like the reason we were gonna bring you over here and talk pretty much today.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we were gonna talk about this because it's a big deal for me.
It is a big deal. So you actually want to start your own podcast.
Kind of, yes.
So you got your inspiration from me because my podcast is awesome.
Yeah,
I'm just
exactly
kidding. No,
what it is.
It has nothing to do with it. So let me ask you this: what is a lot of topics or a lot of podcasts have like a general theme? You can't have the Joe Rogan. Not everybody can be Joe Rogan and just sit down and hem-haw with somebody for 2 hours.
Yeah, I can. Sorry.
So, I mean, that's like if I had a podcast, it's just like, well, this is my friend Bob, and he just talks to people, and that's just like nobody would care, because I'm, he's not Joe Rogan. So, like, mine is usually themed around like music and arts and entertainment and stuff like that. Yeah. So, what would your podcast be themed around? So
this is a whole project, pretty much.
A whole project?
Oh, gosh.
Choose your words.
Cannot believe I said that. Can you delete that?
No, I'm leaving it in here.
No, I can't believe I said that. Okay. So, this is project based. So this is a whole deal. I'm just going to have to go into details of all of it. So this is going to be a mental health podcast. Like, I don't know if anybody was listening to the one I did before. I talked about how mental health is a huge thing for me, because I struggled with it, and
you even did some graphic design projects
yes.
on it.
So that actually helped inspire this idea. I pretty much what I want to do, trying to explain this the best possible way I can.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. You think of your words, because I'll go through this. Like, this is not mental health is not really something. I mean, you can joke a little bit about it, but it's like more like self-deprecating joking about it. But you also got to choose your words when you're talking about it, because you don't want to say or do the wrong things to demean or demoralize any part of what's going on.
Well, like for me, when I was struggling with mental health issues, I didn't want to talk about it because there's that stigma against it. Like,
very much so.
That, I mean, especially with me being in a church, there was always that, it wasn't like drilled in. Obviously nobody told me this personally, but I think it was more, me that, you know, because I was struggling spiritually. That was the problem. It had nothing to do with that. I had a issue. Like,
I don't want to interrupt you, but I can concur. When I was younger, same deal. People would just say you're not, giving your problems to God or whatever. And it's just like, well, this isn't the issue. It's somewhere else.
Like, don't get me wrong. There are times that, you maybe there is some where you need to talk to God type of thing. Yep. But we're not going to get into that because obviously this is not a religious type of thing.
No. But still.
Yeah. So I didn't tell anybody that I had the issues. And with the stigma of, taking mental health medicine, like the medicine that goes with it, there was always that, don't tell anybody. Nobody needs to know.
Yep.
And that was my first thought when I started taking medicine for my depression/anxiety, was that I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't want anybody to know, because I felt weak. Mm-hmm. And it bothered me for the longest time that that I had to take medicine to deal with the day-to-day stuff when other people could without medicine. And I think that's what really got me, was that I needed that help. And so I felt weak because of that.
It's almost like a double-edged sword, though, because first of all, like, I'm just gonna speak from a little bit of my own personal experience here, though, too. But you feel like you're weak because you can't, quote unquote, handle the day to day. And then if you take medication for it, you're not supposed to tell anyone about it.
Yeah.
And that makes you feel like you're weak because you really can't deal with it.
Yeah.
And then you go around and see other people, quote unquote, dealing with it. And it's like, well, these people can deal with it. Why can't I? So it's this big, like, circular thing of just like, I suck or whatever,
Yeah.
But what you don't realize is there might be other people out there going through the same exact struggle.
That's what I realized. So when I started becoming more vocal about my mental health issues and started actually talking about it and being willing to express that, I do struggle with it. I need medicine to help me process things. I mainly take my medicine for me to, like the anxiety side of things. It helps me process things better. That, like, it opened doors for me to hear other people's stories. And the more I started talking about it, the more I realized that I was not alone. Mm-hmm. And that a lot of people have the same issues and a lot of people are struggling too.
It's because everyone's hiding it.
Exactly.
They're hiding it from everyone around them, and they don't realize that everyone's dealing with the same deal.
Yeah. And so my belief is that there is strength in my weaknesses. And going back to my spiritual side, that was one of my favorite verses, is that I will boast about my weaknesses because that's where my strength is. Mm-hmm. So that's, I love to talk about my mental health issues. Yes, sometimes it's a struggle because it brings up a lot of like deep stuff that happened to me, but I am a huge advocate for mental health and anybody that's struggling. And I have listened to countless people that have talked to me about their issues, and a lot of them just want somebody to listen.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like the basis for like my passion behind this project that I'm about to explain, that I realize I haven't explained yet. But so probably the first project will be on myself, most likely. Just to kind of open that door and be vulnerable. Open that door for people to understand that they can be vulnerable with me. So with that being said, my project, because I'm a graphic designer and I did a series that I submitted to our school art show, and it was mental health, and it was a representation of what I felt like when I was struggling with depression and anxiety, and 2 different posters, and I got a lot of good feedback off of them, and they're probably my favorite pieces. I love them so much. They're hanging on my wall at my office. But that sparked an interest for me. I want to do that, but I want to make it a big series. So, and I want to include real people, and I want to include their real stories, their real struggles, what they've gone through and how they've overcome that, how they've grown, how they got help, all that. And I actually already have like 5 people lined up that are willing to help, willing to be a part of this. And so my idea is to talk with those people, sit down, let's have a cup of coffee, let's talk about what happened. And let me hear your story. And then that'll hopefully spark some ideas for the next step, which the next step is going to be, let's do a photo shoot that's going to express what it was like for you. Like, let's actually put a picture of what you went through. And
so I remember when you were first bantying this idea past me. You had talked about like possibly doing this with some sort of like anonymity behind it, so you don't,
So like obviously there's some people, like for instance, if you're abused, maybe you don't want to show your face because you don't want people to necessarily know it was you, or you don't want the person that abused you. You don't want them to know, see you. So this would be definitely depending on your comfortability. Gosh, that's such a weird word to say. I don't know why. If you're willing to show your face, I obviously will be gladly able to take those pictures. But if you don't want your face shown, then we'll work around that type of thing.
And I mean, you're just as much of a photographic artist as anybody, so you can figure out tons of different ways around that.
So then, like with the pictures, I want to do a poster, a little compilation like what I did with the 2 that I submitted for the art show. Pretty much showing, here's this person's struggle in this poster. Like, here's what it looks like, what it looked like for her or him to struggle. And then I want to do a QR code or something in the picture or on the side that people can scan. And then this is where the podcast comes in. And it'll link them to that episode of the podcast where the person can explain what they went through.
That's actually a really good idea, honestly. Like, because people could walk up and see the art and then listen to what it's about. So
I have thought a lot about this. I've prayed a lot about this, and it's just something I feel very passionate about. And I can literally visualize this. I'm a visionary, like I'm a visual person. And I have been visualizing this, like I could see this being a museum part, like, hey, come in, give them a pair of headphones type of thing. And people can go around and listen to real stories and see the pain. Because I think that visually you can hear about it, but also the visual aspect, it can bring a lot more of the realness. And I want that raw emotion. I want people to be able to express themselves. And if this project, if it works and it ends up being huge. I mean, if it helps one person, that's going to be enough for me. Like,
you know, it's actually, the more I think about this, the better I think the idea is, honestly, because it's tough for you to just like send me a text message and be like, I got this idea for this, and I'm like, well, you need an interface, and you need like, I'm just like going on the tech side of things, but like, so you could actually like tell people to like, okay, I've got this art exhibit, you need to bring your AirPods with you. And then they show up and they're like, all these pictures are crazy cool, you know, but it's like, you know, this is the depression wing, and this is the what, you know, you could just go through like these different sections. Somebody be like, this was really neat, whatever, you know, and they scan it, and then like they can listen to this podcast episode, you know, it could be short, long, whatever.
I mean, it can be whatever length. I even said like the anonymous part of this is, or anonymous, however you say it.
Anonymous.
Okay. Words are hard. Okay.
So you're going to start a podcast and you don't know how to talk. I'm just kidding.
Good thing I don't have to write. Ooh, that's where you'd get me. But being able to, people can talk about it. It's an interactive almost exhibit is what I'm visualizing. And
it's almost reverse interactive too, because if you put it out as a podcast, people could find it solely as a podcast, and then on the bottom of the podcast description you could have a link to the art that goes with the podcast.
Exactly.
So
it's it kind of correlates back and forth with each other. I'm in the process of designing a logo for it. I had an idea, but then I found that there was already an idea of that on Google, and I was like, nope. Got to do something new, original. So I'm in the process of rethinking it, but currently writing down words, every word that I think of when I think of mental health, and hopefully that'll spark something. But yeah, this is a project that it really just came into my head and like just boom, like it's there. And the more I thought about it, the more ideas kept flowing, and then I talked it out with a couple people, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I think this is going to be huge. And I have this big feeling in my chest that this is going to be huge and that this could really cause a good impact on people. And I've already talked it out with Jacob Zweibaummer, who was my graphic design teacher. And I said, here's my idea. And he's given me some tips, and he was like, this is a really cool idea. Like, this is awesome. Like, if you can make this work and you can design something that's going to be like really good, this is going to be huge. And he has connections with people. So he was like, if this actually works out, I can try to get a hold of them and see if they'll use it for something. I was like, whoa, dang, I'm already getting connections.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. And so like this is just like my heart, my passion. I've always, ever since I struggled, have had a heart for mental health. And there's so many different kinds of mental health, and everybody struggles differently. And to be able to tell their story is huge.
I think some of the thing is too, it's not that some people have never struggled, but there are some people out there that just never really had a hard time with things. Cause like you pretty much, I don't know. Like I said, from my own personal experience, you just be like, I'm sad or whatever. Let's just break it down to something that basic. I'm sad, you know, and somebody's just like, drink more water. And it's like, that's going to help.
Work out.
Yeah, exactly. You know, go for a walk, drink more water, take some vitamins, sleep more. And it's like, I'm already eating a bunch and sleeping all the time. And you know, like it's a side effect of my issues, you know, like, so
that's what I really want to do. Another part of that is I want to offer a salute, like somebody that I can talk to.
Ooh, that'd be awesome too.
So let's hit you with the story, but then let's also help you. Let's figure out so you know that there's somebody you can talk to. There's something that you can do. I don't want to just be like an 800 number. Here, call this number and talk, because
I mean, it could be something as basic as like, these are the places you could reach out to talk about this stuff. Because I mean, I know people that like, I'm not trying to call Iowa out, but Iowa does not have the best mental health care. It just really honestly doesn't. It's hard to find people. It's hard to know where to go to talk to, you know. And if you go to a doctor, they're just going to like I said, some of them will just tell you to sleep more and, you know, take melatonin at night. And it's like, this isn't helping, you know. So some people don't know who to turn to. So this could be a really good idea.
So hopefully, I'm going to try to ask a friend to see if he'd be willing to help me. But going to probably put myself on the spotlight for the first one. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I realized that, you know, if I'm asking other people to be vulnerable, I need to be vulnerable myself.
It could also be a good example to show people if
Yeah.
you're just like, you know, I want to have you on my podcast, and then they're like, what's it like? And then you just show them the first
Yeah.
episode, and you're like, this is
me.
my story. Yep.
This is me. It's a good song, by the way. This is me. Anybody? I sing that one at karaoke. Anyways, but yeah, mental health. I'm tired of the stigma. I'm tired of there being that you don't see it, you don't talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, everybody knows everybody has issues with it at some point in their life, or there's some sort of problem that comes along. I mean, like, guys, there's the stigma of pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Just work hard. That's all you gotta do. Just go to work. Just shut up. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say anything about, you know, it's not like my family's fault, but I grew up on a farm. That's pretty much what it was. You know, just like just do work. You know, it's not, like I said, it's not their fault. It's just how like everyone in their generation was raised. So, you know, I understand the struggles from an intimate level, and I do understand that, you know, this, like I said, the more we talk about this, the more I think that this could be a very good idea. Not just, you know, not just for like a podcast idea, not just for an art idea, but to combine them all into a way to also maybe help people, you know, so.
And that's just my thing is, you know, let's say this were to become an exhibit in a museum, which would be fantastic. Like that, seriously, I could see it happening, but I got to put in the work first. But
yeah, that's true.
You know, people, all I can hope for and I can pray for is that somebody that is struggling, maybe similar to what somebody else that I already did, you know, something about that they'd see that, you know, there is another story. Like, I have a couple ideas for what I want to name this, like, you know, basic, like, shine your light on mental health. Mm-hmm. But then I also was like, well, there's also that aspect of the story continues. That was one of the things that popped in my head, was their story continued.
Mm-hmm. Because there's people whose stories do not continue.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
And that breaks my heart every time I hear it.
It honestly does.
Could get emotional right now. But people need to see that there is hope, and that while it sucks what they're going through, and it really sucks, there is hope. Mm-hmm. And there's a light that, you know, they don't see it because they're so deep into whatever it is that they're going through that they don't see that exit. And that breaks my heart because I know what that's like. And yeah, so that's my goal, is to raise awareness, to help people, to shine a light on it.
It's such a multifaceted goal. Because like I said, when you first described it to me, it's just like, well, it sounds like a neat podcast idea. And then it's just like, the more you within 15, 20 minutes, you discussed it, and it was just like, holy cow, you know, this is more than just like a simple idea. This is actually a very, very grand schemed goal of multifaceted proportions. You know, it's going to be an art thing, but it's also going to be a way to tell your story. It's also going to be a way to help others. It's going to be a way for some people to get some things off their chest they may have never once gotten off their chest. You know, it's also going to be nice that you're going to give people the ability to be anonymous if they want to, you know, because I'm assuming there's not going to be video for this, you know, so there's probably just going to be audio based. So,
and like, that was the thing is, I'll probably have something for them to just explain how vulnerable they want to be, like a something they sign that says, okay, I'm allowing you to do this.
Yeah. Yep.
Just to make sure I save my butt.
Yeah. The other end is you don't want to step on anyone's toes.
I don't want to hurt somebody.
Ask the wrong questions.
Yeah. Somebody's being vulnerable with me. They're willing to share their deep, you know, pain. I want them to feel safe. Mm-hmm. And that's a big thing, is people need to feel safe in order to be vulnerable.
And the other benefit of this, though, is I'm assuming, I can almost guarantee you're not going to be doing it live, so you'll have the ability to post-edit almost anything you want. So if they say something they want to take out, you can take it out.
And that's another part of that is, let's say they don't even want to be the one speaking, write it out for me. I'll read it. I'll do it myself. Yeah, whatever.
Have someone else read it or whatever.
You don't want your name involved in it? We'll just come up with like a word for that podcast. Like I'm really trying to think of all aspects of it. Like how can I make this as safe for them?
Yes. I mean, that's something else you could do is, for the anonymity of it all. I mean, we could talk about more of this afterwards because, I mean, now we're getting into like building a podcast, type area and brainstorming ideas. And I don't want to give away too many of the awesome ideas that we probably are going to bounce back and forth. But you also do have a hard out. You got to be out of here in just a little bit. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I do want to say, like, first and foremost, thanks for coming on the podcast again. But thank you for also opening up once again and being honest. I do know some of these podcasts are lighter than others. Some of them are actually a little bit heavier than others, but you're always more than welcome to come on here and talk to me about anything. I just want to let you know that. And, you're one of my best friends that I made at college, in a place where I thought I didn't fit in. So I do have to say thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Man, he's one of the greatest things that came out of Iowa Central.
Except for like the 6 degrees you got.
Oh, stop. Oh my gosh. But like, if anybody wants to keep up with, what's going on with that project, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, the Schwenke.artistry, which obviously he'll tag it in.
Yep. Links are in the description.
And I'm going to start, hopefully, as soon as I get the logo, getting stuff figured out. I mean, even if you have an issue, like if you've had a situation, message me on there and, we'll talk it out, see if it's a possibility, So, yeah, I'm obviously going to be needing to look for more people
Yes.
as it grows. But yeah, just a little call out, I guess.
Yeah. And if anybody's looking for a photographer, graphic designer of any sort, also hit those links up down below for Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Very, very good work. If you guys are curious as to what she does, I mean, you can just click the links down below and you'll be able to see everything she does. So I'm really, really glad you came out and talked to me today. This, like I said, the more I heard about this, the more I thought this was actually a really good idea. So I hope you can pull it off. And
it's going to take a lot of work, but
I know. I bet you can do it.
I
bet you can do it.
Work my butt off to make this happen.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. Hopefully we'll see you at a jam night or something here in the near future.
Definitely.
All right.
I'll be there. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, baby. That's another good episode. Got a little serious in there. We were in some really, really deep water at the end, but you know what? We pulled it off. I just have to say once again, thank you a million times over to Mackenzie for joining me on the podcast, for being such a good guest, for being a good friend of mine, and for being willing to talk about such a serious topic matter. I'll give her a platform to talk on my podcast to help plug her upcoming podcast that she's working on. And, I think, like I said in the episode, the more I heard about the podcast, the more I thought to myself, this is actually a really, really good idea for a podcast. So it's multifaceted. It mixes art with different forms of technology. And it's a podcast about something that a lot of people are very passionate about for a very good reason. So once again, just thank you to her for being as open and honest as she is. She always has been. It's just kind of her nature. She's such a good person. So thank you very much to Mackenzie for sitting down and talking with me on the podcast. If you guys are looking for what kind of graphic design work she does, I've got links for it all down in the description section. Make sure you click those links and give her a follow and a like on Facebook and Instagram. And check out some of the stuff she does. If you're a musician and you want some photography done, hit her up. She'll swing out to wherever you're at and take some pictures. I do know she travels a decent amount across the state, so if you guys are really looking for that, hit her up. Pay her some money. That's what we did in Jesse Wilson Music, and she showed up and took some pictures. Not only that, they look so good that I ended up, like I said in the podcast, I bought her a smoothie afterwards because it was that good. So she did a great job. Like I said, I've seen some of the proofs, but I have not gotten the final product yet. So I'm ready to see that, and she's working on it, I know, but I did tell her when we paid her just to take her time and work on her finishing school first and doing her other projects that she had going on. So it is definitely a back burner project for her, but like I said, I did see some of her proofs and some of the small edits she did here and there, and they looked fantastic. So when those come out, the proof will be in the pudding, and if you want to see the proof that is in the pudding, go to her Facebook page or her Instagram page and check out her awesome work. Thank you once again to Mackenzie for joining me, and thank you guys for listening. If you're looking for anything else Audible Farm, you can find it at audiblefarm.com. if you're looking to support the podcast, the easiest way to support it non-financially would be to subscribe or leave reviews anywhere you're listening to this. Give us a thumbs up on Instagram and like us on Facebook and like it on YouTube or subscribe on YouTube. That's something that's so, I mean, it's pretty important to me. I like to see the subscriber count go up on YouTube. The YouTube channel is more than just the podcast too. There's videos of me refinishing guitars as well as videos of musicians on there and so forth. So check those out as well. It's pretty inconsequential to just click the subscribe button for most people. Most people don't ever look at their feed on YouTube. Or at least a lot of people I know don't really look at their feed too much on YouTube. So just click that subscribe button. Like I said, it's inconsequential. It really doesn't mean that much to the people that are doing it, but it means a lot to me. So if it's something you like, go ahead and do that. It doesn't cost anybody any money. If you're looking to support the podcast monetarily, you can go to the shop, Audible Farm Shop. It is shop.audiblefarm.com. There's a link to it also down below. So check that out and find the shop. And we got t-shirts. We got a very small selection of hoodies. There's only a couple sizes left. So check those out if you're looking for t-shirts or hoodies. There's also stickers or decals available. They are very, very durable. They've been stuck everywhere from cars to windows to you name it. Believe it or not, some people have actually stuck them in urinals, in restrooms, and they're still there after years. And so check those out. They're very durable stickers. I've sent them through dishwashers before, and they work out really well. So if you guys are looking for any sort of decals for Audible Farm, check those out. Otherwise, thank you guys for listening to the podcast. I want to say thanks once again to Mackenzie for joining me on this episode. We just kind of shotgunned this one out real quick before the deadline here to upload it. So I gotta say thanks to her for taking some time out of her day. Hopefully I didn't make her too late to where she was going after the podcast. But yeah, thanks for listening. I will check in with you guys next week when I have another episode. Hopefully my work schedule allows me to continue doing this podcast with the frequency that I have been doing it with originally. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this episode, I do have a different employer now, so I'm gonna try and shake all that stuff down around what I still do with my hobbies in my free time. But my free time has now been cut quite a bit shorter than it has been in the past. So if you guys are looking to be a guest on the podcast, just hit me up, send me some links, and just know that my schedule it's all over the map now. I mean, it was busy before, but now it's getting pretty wild. I'm starting to play a lot of shows with Jesse Wilson Music, and Three Finger Betty's starting to book shows, and just lots of stuff going on. So check it out. If you're into what I'm doing, that's what I'm doing. I'm with Jesse Wilson Music and Three Finger Betty. They're available on all social media. So check those out, and I will catch you guys next week. Peace.